Hi, everyone. This is Paul Fisher. I'm doing another live broadcast for TBC, the Billion Coin. And it's a cryptocurrency that came out 2 years ago. I mostly address these videos to individuals who have somewhat already of a knowledge of cryptocurrency. Usually they have learned about Bitcoin because that was the first cryptocurrency to come out back in 2009. The creator of that created a blockchain, double encrypted platform that was completely private, and it was decentralized. So he created an ability to create a coin through a lot of hardware, computer hardware, and a lot of electricity, and a lot of work and effort. Quite unique, okay? Before that, we did have open source, we did have privacy available, but only to a certain degree. With the blockchain platform, it literally is a mathematical, forget it. I'm not even gonna try. But it's amazing, okay? And nobody knew really what it was about. The masses didn't know what it was about back then in 2009. It started to get in use in 2010, the following year. And in 2011, the individual who started it, he just created a name for himself. He called himself Satoshi Nakamoto. I personally don't think that's his real name, but anyway, he's remained anonymous. He stepped away, which was very good. He knew that he needed to step away because he had a plan for the Bitcoin, which was no more than 21 million Bitcoins would be mined. There would never be more than 21 million. Therefore, you had supply and demand. And then with the proof of work, the POW, you had the efforts of independent miners spread out over the world that really nobody knew who they were, where they were, doing this work, spending their money to purchase and set up the hardware needed to mine, okay? They're not digging in the ground or chipping at rocks. It's all on the internet, okay? So that is what gave it its value, okay? So it started out real slow because people weren't sure what it was. I learned about it in 2011. I thought it was crazy. Internet money made no sense to me, but oh well. But by 2016, it had become so popular because they had now, by then, put it on a market exchange like the stock market, and you can trade it like a Forex does with fiat cash, different monies all over the world, right? So enough coins had come out over the years using that same blockchain platform that Satoshi Nakamoto came up with, that there were a lot of coins available. But by Satoshi backing off and backing away and just saying, okay, guys, it's yours, he left one individual kind of sort of in charge. But what that did was it gave confidence to all the miners and any potential owners of the coin that he wasn't going to change the plan somewhere down the line and devalue that coin, and they would lose their investment. So it was very, very smart of him and wise of him to do that. He created it, he set it up, and then he said, okay, it's yours, it's out there, it's gone. I'm not going to touch it anymore. Okay, and there's good things about that. Like I just said, it gave confidence to everybody, and the coin pushed forward. And then when somebody, went ahead and put it on a market exchange, which to me was a mistake, but that's what happened. Then it started to get traded, which meant more transactions were being processed over that blockchain. and that was new technology, was limited, and it ran into problems last year. It ran into problems before that, but it ran into a lot of problems last year. It got so bogged down because it could only handle 4 to 7 transactions per second. And when you are on a trading exchange, not necessarily, going to a store and getting a sandwich at Subway's, but you're actually, those trades are going, all day long. That's a lot of transactions. And the system got bogged down, and it took longer and longer for transactions to go through. The miners started charging extra fees. Hey, if you want yours to go through faster, give me some more money and I'll make sure it gets through faster. Same typical scarcity mindset that's out there, and it's always been out there because we've all been raised under that system. Okay, so they had to fork basically and create a new coin. It was called Bitcoin Cash. And that did help. It brought it back to where they can do transactions fairly quick. Okay, but it's still limited. There's nothing they can do, as far as I know, with Bitcoin itself, except to just keep creating other forks and other coins off that same system. Now, the owner of our coin saw these things 2 years ago, and he wanted to be completely different. Okay, he didn't want it on a market exchange. He didn't want the rich to be able to come in and buy it all up, manipulate the price, dump it, get your coins, raise the price by buying more. You jump in with your money to buy coins and make a little bit. And if you're good and you know how to do that, that's great. You can do that. But the masses don't, and it's just gambling. And the house always wins, right? So the rich will dump as soon as it reaches a high price where they feel comfortable. They've got enough coins that they can collect, and they start to sell their coin. It drops the price, just like the stock market, okay? They make more money when the stock market crashes because what they do is they buy up all the stock when everybody panics and dumps and sells, and then they buy up your stock. With coins, they're buying up your coins, and every time they do that, they get more and more of the masses coins until what? It ends up that they end up with all the wealth. This is like the system has always been, well, not always, but since 1913. Even before that, I believe there was a market, so stock market, so it's always been manipulated. And but there's good things and bad things if you know about it and you do your research, your homework, it's great. And I talked about that yesterday. I used Bill Gates as an example with Microsoft and how so many of us had no clue what Microsoft was back then. So none of us invested. I talked about Warren Buffett, who thinks, he made all his money on the stock market, and he didn't realize the potential of Amazon. So he didn't invest in Amazon. He didn't see the potential in Google. He doesn't know a lot about technology. He's old. He's old school. Well, he's old too, but he's old school. And so he doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency. And that scares him to death because he sees that it's a system that is actual money. Okay? And it's something that he doesn't have any control over. If it's on a trading exchange, if it's Bitcoin, then he can purchase if he wants and, protect his wealth that way. We all can do that. It's an option, okay? It's not a solution. It's an option because these coins are limited in their ability to do massive transactions. So you need a coin like our coin that was designed from the beginning to do massive transactions, except we knew we were on the same old blockchain 1.0 that everybody else was using. But in the meantime, in the background, we were building a brand new system because it had been already 6-7 years since that original blockchain came out. Technology had increased and got better, and we were able to do that. So the owner, which also remains anonymous, our owner, the creator of the Billion Coin, did that. And he made it an abundance-based coin by not putting it on the market exchange. Okay, it cannot be manipulated by anyone. Okay, he has remained a little bit centralized in that way, just enough to control the distribution of wealth with his coin. Okay, the first thing he had to do was make enough coins to accomplish his mission, which was to eliminate global financial poverty worldwide. Okay, 7.5 billion people on this world, on this earth, and there's only 2,000 billionaires. Okay, that's the problem. That's the one problem that's really obvious. Okay, so he created it, and he said, okay, I'm going to make 1 billion coins, and that's it. I'm going to create 1 billion coins, and that's all there's ever going to be. But that's enough. That's enough, because when we get to our first 1 billion members of our community, owners of our coin, or pieces of our coin, which he calls Kringles, okay, because he calls himself Kris Kringle, because he's all about giving. He's all about abundance. There's no scarcity in this individual's mind, just like all of us that are in the community have learned to cross over into that abundant mindset and get rid of the scarcity mindset and realize that we've been brainwashed all our lives and think that resources are limited and that there's not enough for everyone. So that's just a big lie. Anyway, he knew that when we got to our first 1 billion, what he designed it to do was he created an algorithm which values our coin by ourselves, you and I, as members, as human beings. Every time one person comes in and joins our community and gets a free gift of Kringles, today that gift is worth around 3,000 US dollars. We're just giving it away. Anybody, 1-day-old child to 10-year-old person, doesn't matter. We just need a name and an email address. It's got to be a real email address, because you will get 2 emails, at least based on the old system. We're migrating over to this brand new 2.0 blockchain right now. And that's why we are doing these videos, because we are letting the world know, instead of there just being one of us, like, okay, I'm Bill Gates and I'm trying to tell you guys. It's like Bill Gates, advertised and sent out the word, and everybody was trying to tell people, hey, buy our stocks. Okay, and so people did learn about Microsoft, and they did invest, and now they're multimillionaires, but not everybody did, right? Okay, so we're doing the same thing, except we're not spending money on advertising. Okay, it's not how our system works. He's not spending the creator's not spending money on advertising a coin, money. It's just peer-to-peer. We're talking. We're spreading the news one person at a time. But with these videos, it helps get it out on YouTube, so that people who are coming into the realm of cryptocurrencies and they're looking for information, and they've heard of Bitcoin because it's been around the longest and it's the most popular coin right now. And there's supposedly 12 million users of the coin at this time. And so they do a YouTube search, and there's a really good chance that one of our videos on the billion coin is going to pop up on that right side, and as a suggestion for you to watch. And so therefore, there's a chance that someone might say to themselves, especially if they're knowledgeable and they're in the trading exchange system, they know about the coin market cap and all that, they will see that and they'll say, what is TBC? I've never heard of it. I've never seen it on the coin market cap. What is that coin? And then they'll get some information and then decide for themselves. In the beginning, 2 years ago when we came out, people like those individuals who became knowledgeable about cryptocurrencies because of the trading exchange thought that our coin was a scam because it wasn't on a trading exchange. Well, if it's not on the trading exchange, it's not real. That's what they said. 2 years later, we're still here, and now we're getting on a blockchain platform that speeds up the transactions just like MasterCard and Visa, literally seconds, hundreds of thousands of transactions a minute. Okay, whereas the Bitcoin system is still stuck at around 10 transactions a second. Okay, so how can that coin ever be a solution to our economic problems that we are facing literally right now? The entire world is facing it. I was having some computer issues earlier. In fact, when I watched yesterday's video, I noticed that, gosh, for the first 20 minutes, it was just horrible. Couldn't hardly understand myself, whatever. But after about 20 minutes, it just cleared up and it was okay. I hope you guys are not experiencing that right now. I don't think it's my computer. I think it is the Wi-Fi system I'm on. It's CenturyLink. And every time I've called them, they have told me the same story. You, Mr. Fisher, live in a neighborhood that just happens to be the weakest signal because of where the towers are positioned in the entire valley of Las Vegas. Okay, well, then give me a discount. No, we can't do that. But anyway, so I'm stuck unless I move out of Green Valley. And I really do like this area. But anyway, I hate the Wi-Fi system. But let me go over real quick and see if you guys are complaining and saying, Paul, you sound terrible. If you guys are complaining. Okay, I've got one person that says she hears me. Okay, I just hope that it sounds okay. But anyway, you can always go back and watch this video or just put up with it and hopefully it will clear up if it is acting weird. If the picture is kind of blurry, it's not that I have a bad camera. There's just something wrong with the Wi-Fi because it clears up. So it just depends. Anyway, let me get back. Okay. So where was I? The Billion coin, we are different, we are unique. And that's what makes us so passionate about it, because it is a solution. It's a solution because for two reasons. Okay, one is the fact that we are now, as of May 1st, migrating over to a new blockchain platform 2.0. That's as fast as you can do transactions, as fast as Visa and MasterCard all over the world. That's a game changer. It's a huge game changer because Bitcoin can't do that. That's just a fact. It cannot do that. It cannot do that many transactions all over the world. Okay, and they've got 12 million people, and they're only going to have 21 million coins. Okay, we have, after 2 years, 3.1 million members. And we went through that horrible same process last year as Bitcoin did. We were still on that 1.0 platform. We got bogged down, not because we were on a trading exchanges, because we were doing so many peer-to-peer just between our own community. We have a real community. Bitcoin can call itself a community, but nobody knows who has Bitcoin, just like nobody really knows who has the Billion coin, except for what we call Kris Kringle. Okay? He has kept just a small amount of centralization to prevent this coin from being manipulated by the wealthy and to achieve the solution that he intended it to be, which was to bring abundance back into the world. Well, I mean, it's always been there, but right, to bring it back into our mentality and say, look, there's enough for everyone. This other stuff, this debt-based system that the central banking system has been around and created and controlled most of the world for all of these centuries. doesn't have to exist anymore. Okay, so, and it's because of this technology. We've never before been at this point, just like I said yesterday, Microsoft, computers, the internet, it had never been there before. That opportunity, that leverage that people could buy stock in Microsoft and turn out to become multimillionaires in the next decade was not available prior to that, right? So here we are telling you, okay, here we are at another point in history where this is you've never seen leverage like you have leverage now to become wealthy. Yes, you're not used to it. You don't understand it maybe, but you can learn. It's all over the internet. You can learn what cryptocurrency is. You can learn how the blockchain works, and then you can make a decision about what you want to do and which coin you want to invest in. If you're going to invest in one that's on the trading exchange, don't play around with trading it, is my advice. And I'm no financial advisor, so don't take my advice. But what was I going to say? But hold on to it. Just hold on to it. You're going to buy Bitcoin, hold on to it, because it will go up and down, up and down, up and down. But overall, 12 months later, it's going to be higher than it was 12 months before. And again, 12 months after that, it's going to be higher than it was 12 months before. So over the long run, it will go up simply because of supply and demand. The only problem is it will never be a solution to global poverty. There will only be so much you can do, but it is an option to protect your current wealth. Okay? Because most of us are not millionaires, or at least most of us, well, obviously we're not billionaires. There's only 2,000 billionaires, a little over 2,000 billionaires in the entire world. And that's, I told you yesterday, and I mentioned this before, that's the problem with this world. Those 2,000 people were not vetted by anyone. They could be anyone. They are anyone. And they're not very nice people. The majority of them are not very nice. And the ones that are, they just act like it, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, we're giving 50% of our wealth away before we die. Yeah, where are you giving it to? Oh, in special charities where, we control. Okay, so the billion coin is completely different. We're not used to selfless individuals controlling abundance, an abundance system. We're not used to it. It's foreign to us. But it's here, and we're not going away. Okay, and I can guarantee you, and I won't get into that the central banking system is aware of us, just like they're aware of all the cryptocurrencies. And they're watching. In fact, today, there's news that I'd like to get into. If you want to stick around for another half hour, I'll tell you the latest of what's going on with the central banking system and their efforts to protect themselves, because they realize at this point that this cryptocurrency is something that they not only can't control, but it's real and it's not going away. It is the future. Imagine a banking system, group of a few individuals who have been part of families who have controlled the system for centuries. Okay? Imagine that they have controlled all the wealth. Eventually, they got their hands on all the gold, silver, diamonds, whatever's of value, resources. They've bought them up. They've bought our politicians. They've done what they wanted. They took over our governments, took over the people of the world, oppressed them, went into the countries, stripped those countries of resources, while the people lived in poverty and disease because of poverty. These are very, very, very evil individuals. Okay, now look at today. We've got a man in the office here in America as president who is not bought by the central banking system. He is not a politician. Okay, I'll admit that. Okay, he's not a politician. But I'm grateful for that. We, the patriots, put him in office because he was not a patriot. I mean, he was not a patriot. He was not bought, and he was not a politician. He's a businessman and a deal maker, and he's really good at it. Okay, and he uses people, other patriots, that believe in the same belief that all of us believe in: freedom. Freedom. Real freedom. And we want to get our country back. And there is a big war going on. Okay, and Trump will use the media, he'll use Twitter, he'll use whatever he can to make the central banking system think they've got him, or he's going along with their plan, this and that. But in the background, he's doing something else. We saw it with North Korea. We're going to see it coming up with Iran. We're watching what's going on with Syria. Okay? And you have to, if you're paying attention, you're going to have to realize something's not right, because this usually isn't how things end up. Remember, keep in mind, the deep state, the central banking system, the elite, whatever you want to call them, is all about creating chaos in the world. War, because they make money. And control. Okay? So, if you see the opposite starting to happen, something's up. Okay? But in the meantime, they're not going to go down without a fight. Their structure is huge. They've been around so long that, you know, they're very cocky, and they think, well, there's nothing that can take us down. We've been in control of America since 1913. No president's been able to stop us, because we've owned them all except John F. Kennedy. And we don't own Trump. But now Trump is in an era which wasn't even there when Reagan was, okay, with all this technology and all this ability to do things, because the world has shrunk in that way that technology has brought us together so that we know what's going on, we see things, and we can do things that we've never been able to do before. Okay, so the central banking system is really, really in a bad situation that they've never experienced, and they just don't know what to do. And that can be a little bit concerning, because when they get their backs up against the wall, they don't care about us. They don't care about humanity. So they'll do whatever they have to do to distract the world, distract the Americans, divide us up even more. Whatever they've got to do to hang on to their agenda, to keep their narrative, okay, and blame Trump and the Patriots for all the problems. Meanwhile, Trump is staying 2 steps, and us, the Patriots, are staying 2 steps ahead of them, maybe even 3 steps, 4 steps, okay? And we're doing things, and it's working. We've won all the battles so far. We haven't lost a single battle. So, but things always get worse before, you know what I'm saying? It gets worse as the war goes on, and then bam, it's over. And we just hope it's over for the central banking system, not us, okay? Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in that same system. I mean, that system is going to go down no matter what. It has to. It's run its course. But what will they do when it does? I don't know. They'll come out with something to back up their currency, okay? They may have to go right back to gold. But if it's in their control, then they'll turn around and take that gold back again. But in the meantime, the transition period from when it crashes to when they get it all back set up the way they want to will be horrendous for the American people, will be horrendous for people around the world. But keep in mind that countries are switching over their economic systems to cryptocurrency to avoid that type of a situation and to bring freedom back to their own country and their own people. Never, ever have we been in a situation that we are literally capable of doing that. For the first time, our coin, the Billion coin, you've never seen a cryptocurrency. If you know about cryptocurrency and how they work, you've never seen one like ours. Based on abundance, based on an algorithm rather than a trading exchange. Yes, there's supply and demand. We're only making 1 billion coins, but we have an algorithm. Like I said, it was based on the euro when we first came out. Okay, so every time a member joined and got a free gift of Kringles in their hands, free. In fact, back then we didn't even have a back office. We didn't even have a $10 charge for the wallet. Everything was free. Okay, because we're so different. There's no transaction fees. You can use our coin 100 times a day and not pay anything in transaction fees. Okay, try doing that with any other cryptocurrency on a trading exchange. It's not going to happen. Okay, little things like that will make you think, okay, wow, I'm not used to that. Is this a scam? And it's okay to think that, because it's just natural for us when we see something so foreign to us to say, that can't be right. That's too good to be true. It's got to be a scam. Okay, but right away, if admin who does not sell any coins, okay, we started out with 100 people 2 years ago. 100 people, we called them stakeholders. Okay, it was like an ICO, but we only let 100 people in because we wanted to know who those 100 people were. Okay, this was very important. And then we grew from there to 100,000 our first year. And then from our first year to our second year, we grew from 100,000 to 3 million. So we grew by 30 times last year during a horrible, horrible, slow part of our history. Okay. If we grow 30 times this year with the blockchain platform we're migrating to now, which will be finished in 90 days, but while we're moving over there every day, every week, there'll be more of us on that system. And when people find out about it, and we're going to be doing these videos all during that 90-day period to let people know, hey, now is the time to come in. You want to come in. Even though we're still controlling the distribution of wealth, you can still get a coin even though it's worth well, like I said, if it was still in euros, it would be 3.1, million euros, because we have 3.1 million members. But we've switched over to basing it on the price of gold. So that immediately gold is 2.2 euros per grain of gold. And that's what we base our value on. Grains of gold, that's the smallest measurement of gold that there is. Yeah. So we got an immediate pay raise. So the price of our coin went from 3.1 to like 7 million 2 days ago. Okay, and so that's going to change the ultimate price when we get to our first billion people. Instead of the coin being 1 billion euros at that point, it's going to be 2.2 billion euros, if based on today's price of gold. Okay, and we should be there within 2 years. Okay, because I keep saying, we only have to double 9 more times. Okay, which just means that people have to go out and give the gift to 1 or 2 people a week, a month, and we'll be there. We'll be there. If they did the same thing, if they got the free gift and then they turned around along with the people again who were giving out and gave out another 1 or 2 the next month, along with the people they brought in, that's how you double. That's how you duplicate. And we would only have to do that 9 times. And we could do that in 9 months. We could do it in 9 weeks. It's not going to happen. That's not how people usually work, because they're just slow, and we do have to educate. This is a huge education that we're trying to do. But we're going to, even if, like I said, even if we grow by 30 times from what we are now, we're going to be close to 100 million because of our platform. That's the game changer. That is what makes us a solution. Okay, not just an option to protect your wealth, but a solution to any economic system that they do come out with. Even Trump and Patriots got to come out with a new economic or a new currency. Okay, most likely it would be backed by gold again. Okay, that just makes sense. Point is, it will be the government, our people's money. It won't be a private bank. It won't be the Fed. It won't be the Federal Reserve. That's what we call the Fed. Federal Reserve banks. Private bank that just gave themselves the name federal to fool us all into thinking they had something to do with the government. Okay? We won't be in their system. They won't be loaning us money that they're going to charge us interest, and we get ourselves in $22 trillion worth of debt. How ridiculous is that? And so they tax us, another unconstitutional thing, the IRS. They tax us income taxes to pay the interest on that. Give me a break. Okay. So let me, that's basically what we're doing here with these live broadcasts every day, is getting the word out that the Billion coin is available. You can get it for free. And you can even get a full coin that's worth $7 million right now for only $100. And this is through a special promo. And we've been having these special promos since day, well, not right at the beginning because we didn't have to. We just controlled how things were going. We controlled who were purchasing from each other and how things were going. We had to grow our community. But then we took over the wallet system partially to centralize that part. Okay, the blockchain is completely decentralized. So that's all private. And even our wallets are private, okay? But at least there's someone, admin, Chris Kringle, has control. And that way, if someone tries to discount our coin and go against our membership agreement, we can stop it. And they were certainly doing that. Because when they got in at the beginning, when it was so cheap, and they saw the price go up as the membership grew, they ended up with all this money in their wallet, and they wanted to turn it into fiat cash so they could pay their rent, right? Or whatever, buy a car or whatever. And they said, geez, how can we sell this coin? You know? So they would tell people, and people would say, God, that's really expensive now. Well, hey, I'll give it to you, 10 cents on the dollar. Well, that ruins the coin. That ruins the value of the coin. We can't have discounting. It's a huge no-no. Okay, so we put a stop to that by changing the wallet system. And we were planning on that, and that went smooth. Right when I got involved a year ago, they were just ending that transition. Okay, so and then once that, everything was cool. By then, there was already promotions out. We were distributing the wealth evenly. We don't allow rich people to come in and purchase up all the coins for themselves to leave nothing left for the rest of us. That's not how we work. Okay, we are so different. We are a community of selfless, or just completely unselfish people. Let's just put it that way. We are just unselfish people. Yeah, there's a few bad, whatever you want to call them, nuts, bad acorns. I don't know what's the term. There's a few, people that just don't get it. Okay, and we got to weed them out, and they get weeded out. They weed themselves out. But it's amazing that we have this big of a community of people that just get it. Of course, many of them have a religious background, just with the basic morals that we get from the scriptures. And I'm not saying they're all Christians, because they're not, but there's a huge amount. And even the admin is obviously very Christian. And this helps because we're attracting like-minded individuals who are quick to realize that, hey, there's nothing wrong with abundance. There's no need for greed. Hey, that's a new one. There's no need for greed. I'm going to use that. There's no need for greed. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about, you guys want to hang around, about current happenings in the economy. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to read the closed captioning on one of these videos from Dave at X22. Let me go over there. Okay, I'm going to basically try to read this. He talks really fast, but I'll try to slow it down. Okay, he starts off, this is the latest video he came out with today, and he calls it Central Bank Shifts Strategy to Counter Patriots. Okay, and he always talks about cryptocurrency as being an option. He doesn't talk about the billion coin, but he talks about cryptocurrency in general. But the thing that I like about him is all his information he gets is from other sources that I have direct access to, but he puts it all together. So I hit him first, and it makes it easy for me to get a real good idea of what's going on that day. Okay, he says in the crypto sphere, we know that the central banks, they've been demonizing, or they have been demonized in cryptocurrency. They also been demonizing gold. Now, there's no periods after the captioning, so I'm going to sound funny when I talk. They also been demonizing gold and silver for a very long time. And again, they don't want anyone looking at those types of systems. Okay, and that's just common sense. They know there's nothing wrong with gold and silver, right? They own it all. Not all, but they own a humongous amount. Humongous amount. And people with the knowledge and the common sense have always told us, Americans, hey, have a little bit of gold on hand, have a little bit of silver on hand. You never know about this fiat system, this fiat currency. And if there's problems, at least you'll have something you can really use as money to exchange as value, to barter with. Otherwise, what are you going to barter with? Toilet paper? Yeah, that'd probably be in demand in a really bad situation if you've got a bunch of toilet paper stored at your house. But I'm sorry, I'm just being funny. But no, seriously, they've also told us to even have some extra cash on hand, fiat cash, because we're still going to be on that system even after the crash for a while, right? But there'll be such massive inflation. Like I said yesterday, I said a loaf of bread will cost $5. And I wasn't even thinking that bread is already at that price. For a really good loaf of bread, you're going to pay $5, right? Okay, so let's move it up to $10. You know, let's say bread is worth $10 a loaf. And you don't have any cash because the bank won't give it to you. They've shut down. They're on holiday. Or they're only going to give you so much a week out of your money. No matter how much money you got in the bank, they're only going to give you a few $100s a week. And if it's not enough to live on, you're going to hurt. So there's always people out there, books, all kinds of people that have just always said, be a little bit prepared for a rough transition. Most likely it won't be a rough transition. We didn't see too bad of a transition when Nixon took us off the gold standard in '71. We were in lines at the gas station. That was about the only thing that there was a problem with. And then everything seemed great after that. I talked about that yesterday with the credit card, the credit system that they came out with. Get American people in more credit, in more debt, I mean. But anyway, so they demonize you owning gold and silver because, again, that takes their power away. Okay. Okay, or looking at anything that might go up against the fiat system. They don't want that to happen. But we're seeing a lot of financial firms where we're seeing a lot of investors, we're seeing a lot of venture capital firms look at cryptocurrency because they see that there is something there now. Even Goldman Sachs are starting a trading desk. We know JP Morgan has a trading desk because they want to be on both sides. They understand that something's going to change and they don't want to be left out in the cold. So they're making sure that they have a foothold over here and a foot over there so that they're covering all their bases. And again, if we do or when we do go to the crypto realm, I don't believe we need any of these financial institutions. And he's right about that. I mean, seriously, what do we need these financial institutions? They're all based on the market, the stock market, that system that sucks the blood out of Americans. Okay? All of our retirement funds, don't get me started on that because I hit that yesterday and I almost got emotional. And I hate getting emotional. But I saw a lot of people lose everything they had because their retirement funds were all based on stocks in 2008 when that crash hit. And anyway, so we don't need any of these financial institutions. There's no reason for them. But once again, they're going to try to make a reason why they need to exist. But what we're seeing right now is billionaire Peter Thiel. Is that how you say his name? Thiel. Peter Thiel, his venture capital firm, is investing a startup designed to optimize block trading for major cryptocurrency market participants. The investment has been revealed, and it's the founders fund themselves has already made a monster bet on Bitcoin. It also confirms that bullish view on Bitcoin reported in October last year when the billionaire investor argued that critics of Bitcoin were underestimating the cryptocurrency. He went on to say if Bitcoin ends up being the cyber equivalent of gold, and it has a great potential left, and it's very different kind of thing from what people in Silicon Valley focus on companies, not algorithms, not protocols, but this might be maybe one exemption that is very underestimated. Peter's got some brains, doesn't he? Okay. Sounds like to me he's a billionaire that kind of understands monetary systems. Okay. He goes on and says the objections that people have to Bitcoin are also objections to gold. It's this weird currency that's not backed by any government. Same thing is true of gold. And first of all, who cares if it's backed up by government, if it's backed up by the people? If the people believe it's worth something, then it's worth something, okay? Isn't that the truth? Right now, we're using paper money that's worth nothing. It's not backed up by gold or anything. But the reason we can use it is because the vast majority of us around the world believe that it's money. And so even though it devalues and even though there's inflation every year built right into the system, we go on believing it because it's all we have. Okay? So he's not lying to us here. Okay, he even went on, Dave says, he even went on to say if everyone decided that $100 bill was worthless, then you wouldn't want to have the $100 bill. Duh. Okay, that's absolutely right. If we all got together and we looked at the paper currency, the Federal Reserve note, and the entire country and the world said, listen, we don't believe this is worth anything. We're not going to be trading it anymore. What would happen to it? It would be worthless. No one will deal with it. That's all I've been talking about for days. that that's exactly what's going on in the world. The countries are getting rid of the US dollar to the point now where it's no longer the reserve currency of the world, which it has been for decades. It's no longer. That should tell you right there what's going on, that there's something happening. Okay, so these countries, as they're switching over to their own systems of money, and they're valuing it on the resources of their countries, excuse me, and they're making cryptocurrency like Venezuela has done, then you're going to see the US dollar come back here, because where else is it going to go? If they don't want it, it's out of their countries. And I talked about that yesterday with China. Okay? All that cash is coming back to America. What do you think that's going to do? Okay, so he just says it would be worthless. No one would deal with it. No one would use it. That's how that works. Now, we can see that these individuals understand what is coming. They understand that things are about to change. Okay, I apologize for stepping in here and voicing my own opinion. I have not had a chance to read this particular or watch this particular video today because of technical issues with my Wi-Fi. So I keep stopping and I'm ahead of myself here. And he keeps ended up saying what I just got through saying. So anyway, I'll go on. And I do believe the central banks, they're going to be fighting all the way down until the central banks are completely obsolete. And from what I see coming, I think the central banks, they're on their last leg, and they will become obsolete unless something major changes. But we're on that course right now. Now the economy in the United States is continually declining. Nothing's changed here. Commercial, hang on. The course right now, the United States is continually declining. Nothing's changed here. The statistics that they've been using since 2008, prior to 2008, where they even manipulated past 2008, everything in the same, nothing has changed. What is Trump? What Trump is, I lost a little bit of the caption. What Trump is doing right now, he's using what was given to him to push the economy to the edge. Okay, I'm going to butt in here again. As I've said this before, that's what the central banking has always done, is push the economy to the edge. But right there, they don't want a country to default on their loans. Okay, no matter how much in debt a country is, just like we're 22 trillion in debt, you'd think we would be defaulted already. No, it's okay. We'll just raise the debt cap. We'll make some more money. But they bring it to the edge. This is how they stay in control. And then when things get really bad, right, and they can see a crash coming, then they'll bail whatever they need to bail out, whether it's the savings and loans, banks, car dealers, car makers, car manufacturers, whatever it is they need to bail out, they'll just make more money and bail it out and keep the system going. But with Trump and Patriots, we are trying to actually crash it, okay? We're taking it to the edge and then we're going to crash it because we have to get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it is to blow the whole system out and then come out with our own money, okay? That's what we need to do, okay? That's what Andrew Jackson did. That's why Trump has a picture of Andrew Jackson, a portrait in the Oval Office on his wall. Okay, he says, I'm going to show you in a little bit how the corporate media, the Fed, the establishment, how they're going to gain the narrative, how they're trying to gain the narrative, and how they're getting ready to push their agenda, and they're doing it very slowly right now, and they're trying to make their case of why certain things are about to happen. But if we look at U.S. factory orders, they rose by 1.6% in the month of March, and they were revised up to 1.6 So that means they were much lower now. If we look at factory orders year on year, we see a pattern here. Now this kind of gets boring for most people when he starts talking stats. Like I said, I'd skip this, but I don't know how long he talks about this. Maybe I'll just kind of read this. He's talking about factory orders. He always backs everything up with charts and facts on stats. And even though it is boring for most of us to hear that, it's good to know that that's what he is doing. That's what everyone who knows what's going on does. They back everything up by, and that's why they know what's going to happen. They're just watching the stats. They're watching what things are going on and what they did in the past. So history usually repeats itself because we don't learn. But there are individuals out there who do know, and they do as much as they can to change history. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Most of the times it doesn't because the masses just don't have the ears and eyes to see and hear. See and hear. Okay. But those who do will usually come out better during any kind of a major crisis. Okay. Let's see what else he says here. He's just talking about, you know, the low period of 2001. We were in a session. If we, let's see, all the way, if we go all the way back to the 90s, it wasn't as low as it was in 2014, 15, and we were in a recession. 2008, it was really, really low, and we were in a recession. And what we're seeing right now is that it was pushed up, and it looks like we're heading to that point where we are going to be heading into a recession because we hit the top and we are now coming down. Okay, again, he's talking about capital goods shipments, okay? So let me just get past this if you guys don't mind hanging out here. He has to show and he has to prove that what he's saying is correct. Okay, and of course, it is correct. We are heading for that depression, okay? But in letting you know that, he's also letting you know we, the ones that have our eyes open and our ears are listening, we know what Trump and the Patriots, which is us, are doing. We know that there's already a system set up. We know everything that's going on. We watch his executive orders that are coming out. We don't sit there in front of CNN and Fox News and CNBC and get fed, you know, lies. What Trump is famous for, fake news, right? We get our news from sources we know that are patriots and that are in there behind Trump, working with Trump all over the world to get these things accomplished. And Trump is moving fast. He has to move fast. He has to get things done this first term. If he wants to do another term, he's got to get things done and making things look like, oh my gosh, and waking the American people up to, oh my gosh, this happened. This is incredible. Okay, we are living in a period where we're going to make history. Okay, and our billion coin, our criminal coin, is going to be part of that because it's just it's a backup, but it's a solution. When you have a cryptocurrency that's real, that is going to max out its price at 1 billion coins, and there's going to be enough abundance and wealth for the other 6.5 billion people that are on the earth. Plenty. We can double that and have enough. When you see that and realize that, and when it goes down within the next 2 years, you know, God willing, we're still alive in 2 years, right? And we see that, but we're gonna, you know, I'm looking forward to every month this year because I see what's going to happen. I know that we're migrating over to a new blockchain platform that's going to change the entire game for cryptocurrency. We're going to be the first, and we're not going to be the last. Okay, Telegram messaging service is coming out with their coin that's on an algorithm and will be abundance-based a year from now. Well, April of 2019 is when they say. They're already having their ICO. It's blown all records because people are knowledgeable about what's going on and the differences between a coin that's not on the trading exchange market and one that's not, or one that is. $1.7 billion has been purchased of this new coin from Telegram. I think they call it TON, ton. Okay, so it just validates what we're doing. Okay, but we're ahead of the system. But the more the better. We don't compete with each other. Money doesn't compete with each other. Okay, we're not a network marketing company or a multi-level marketing company. We're money. We're currency. Well, we're more than currency. We're money. We're cryptocurrency. Okay, our business is not selling and making money, fiat money. No, our business is distribution. We get it into your hands, and then we use Kringles. We don't use fiat system. We don't use any other system except, well, we can. Okay, any system that comes out that Trump and Patriots are already setting up and ready to transition over to, if it's backed by gold, which that's just common sense tells me that's what it's going to be. It tells most of us that are watching it that that's what it has to be. Even the central banking system would have to do that if they really want to win. Okay, but they're not going to, God willing. And all these currencies that will be backed up by something of value will be money. The more money and the more options we have as money in this world, the better for every person on the planet. Okay? Because when there is abundance, there is no need for all of these wars being started because of lack, being created by the central banking system to control the people so that they can suck the resources all to themselves. Okay, it's just history. Okay, so he goes on here. Bear with me if you want. It's good stuff. Okay, but it is another 10 minutes. No, it's another, 12 minutes. No, 10 minutes. Headed towards a huge depression, and that is the collapse of the economy. We see U.S. worker productivity. Well, that has been revised lower. That is dropping the unit labor costs. Year has dropped, and this is the second time. Okay, he's just continuing to tell us what most of us in the know already know. And that is the stats. That is the facts of what's going on in the country right now. Because the corporate media is telling us the exact opposite. Okay, he talks about Fannie Mae. He talks about what they're doing, what the central banking system is doing, no interest loan mortgage. They're going to go down to that. They're going to do everything they can to hang on to their system and get people sucked in. What they're not saying is that the economy never improved since 2008. It's an illusion. It's only gotten worse. They're telling us, oh, in the next 10 years, it's great. Nothing bad's going to happen for at least 10 years. Oh, my God. And then if you just were watching reality instead of living in the little bubbles that we tend to live our lives in, then you would see what's going on. Okay? But it's okay. That's why we're doing these videos. To help you guys learn, if you come across one of our videos, even if just one person comes across my video and learns something, learns a little bit that gets them to do a little bit more research, then thank God that he used me just to get to somebody else. Because that's how God works, right? He gives us teachers when we're ready for a teacher. Okay, let me go on to see what he says here. And see if he talks about anything else. Okay. He just said what I said. Talking about the housing, the mortgage, the subprime securities were complete garbage, all of that stuff. This is just how the system has been. If you're not familiar with how the system's been, it's okay. We've got enough things to deal with in our lives to not worry or to not have time to know everything that's going on around us when it comes to money and politics. You know, it does take a great deal of time to stay on top of that. Some of us have more time than others, or we prioritize our time because we have certain passions for it. But most people, they don't have time. So when they do, they get a snippet here and a snippet there from television, from the corporate media, which just gives you lies. Unless you're real good sometimes and you can read between the lines. And that's rare, because even that stuff doesn't come out too often. Okay, so let's see what else he says. You know, he's talking about not only is it going to affect, you know, the home mortgage situation, loans, but it's also going to affect the automobile market. He talks about how it happened in the past. He talks about how people took out equity loans on their homes to do home improvements, to buy things. Right now, the horror that we're seeing in Canada is that these people, they've got so much equity, this elusive equity. I mean, what basically they're doing is they're mortgaging or they're refinancing and taking out loans not to fix their houses up or to buy cars. They're doing it to feed themselves. That's how bad the economy is in Canada, but we don't hear about it, do we? But that's what's going on. This is something you probably do know, or maybe you don't. But when Linda and I moved here in 2004, there was a mortgage, a home, the value that was in homes was at its highest. It was unreal what the value had grown in just a few years. Okay. People who bought homes in 2004, by 2007, they had so much equity in their homes it wasn't even funny. And those who were smart sold. They sold. And they used that money for whatever they wanted to use it. A lot of them went into business. A lot of them did some investments, whatever. Okay. But at least it worked for them until the crash. But when people got caught in the middle of a refinance or in the middle of a loan and they hadn't sold their homes and that crash hit, that bubble hit in 2008, what happened? The banks foreclosed on thousands of homes here in Las Vegas. I saw so many friends that lost their homes. I mean, I saw friends that had just spent a whole year fixing up their homes. Okay, fixing up their homes so that they can live in a real nice home. And then they lost it to the bank. They had to leave. They had to leave their home and either move to some other part of the country or move into an apartment. Okay, and he just goes on and keeps saying, hey, come on, you know, trust. That's what they tell us. Trust the real estate market's never going to go down. Always goes up in price, right? Yeah, right. Okay, and he does mention that those people who did know, like for instance, those people in my town of Las Vegas and the surrounding, you know, towns here in the valley, when the ones that do know, that did know what was going on, when their value got up to a point in 2006, 2007, they did sell before the crash. Okay. But there was a whole lot fewer of them than there were those who hung on because they just thought it was going to keep getting better. Or they had got into the game, not even realizing it was a game later, and they were in the middle of fixing up their homes or using that equity for something that they thought was good and was going to secure their future. And then they lost it all. Okay, so again, he's talking about how the central banking system works and how they bail out, blah, blah, blah. He just goes on and talks. I don't think I can just sit here unless I go through this and I can skip forward into something, the stuff that's really good. Like, basically, he titles it Central Bank Shifts Strategy to Counter the Patriots. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about today because yesterday he was talking about this system of electronic money they're coming out to eliminate cash. And perhaps he's just going to touch on that more. Perhaps he's got more information. I haven't looked at a couple other of my sources yet today because I've had technical issues with my computer or my Wi-Fi. My computer's okay. Okay, so I will let you guys go if there's anybody left. I've been on an hour and 15 minutes. And what day is it today? Thursday. It's Thursday. Man, the weeks just go by. It's awesome. Okay, I'm already set for tomorrow, 5 o'clock. God willing, I'll be here. Same place, same time, same channel. I'm Paul Fisher. Thanks so much for any of you, for the good remarks that you leave on the live chat, or any good comments you might leave later on when you're watching the video, for all your kind words. And please look at the information that's in the description below the video and learn a little bit about cryptocurrency and especially the Billion Coin, because like I said, you have never been in a position in your life, and you may never be in a position like this again. Hopefully you will. The more positions we're in like this, the better for the entire world. But right now we are the first, and this is the first, that you're going to see the kind of leverage we're offering. $100 you purchase of Pringles from any one of us that are doing these videos, or anybody that's got a member of the community who has enough Pringles that is not going to hurt them to sell you $100 and take your fiat cash. The way admin sets up the promo is the transaction is verified, and he instantly puts 100 million cookie reward points in your back office, okay? And which is your own website, which keeps control of everything. It's $10 for a whole year, and it includes a free lifetime wallet with no transaction fees, okay? We're not out to, we don't want your money, okay? I know that sounds crazy, and people automatically do assume that there's something, it's too good to be true, it must be a scam. But again, remember, we're giving it out. And remember the reason why we're giving it out, because it's based on members owning the coin. So if we give it out and say, hey, you know, we're giving out $3,000 worth of or Kringle in cryptocurrency. If you know anything about cryptocurrency, take it. Okay, it's going to cost you $10 to have your back office in your wallet, but it's going to go up in value every single day. It's not on any trading market exchange. It's a savings account that you've never seen and never experienced before. There's no savings account out there you can put in the bank that you're going to see those kind of returns on. It goes up in value every day. I'm not talking about fractions. It goes really up. Okay. So, and it will continue to go up until we get to our first billion. And we're only at 3.1 million. Okay. So like I said, right now that gift will end up being worth about $800,000 when we reach our first billion members and maxes out that price. That's not chump change. That's pretty good, 800,000, but it's not going to make you filthy rich. Okay, but it will certainly be nice, and it won't cost you anything but $10. You want to spend 100? We'll give you a full coin. You can exchange those 100 million cookies to 100 million Kringles, which is one full coin. It's currently worth $7 million and will end up being worth $2.2 billion if it's based on today's price of gold in 2 years from now. You want to be a multi-billionaire? Take a risk with $100. Okay? Whenever have you seen that kind of leverage? You've never. That's why it's so mind-boggling. And it's just like, no, there's no way. It's got to be a scam. But it's not. Seriously, it's not. We're giving the coin away. We're not trying to make our coin to turn into fiat cash. We want our coin to be the money. Okay? We don't want fiat cash. But that's what our system is based on right now. And so we're not just giving it away, but if you want more, we're going to distribute it equally among all of us. Okay? We're all going to be multi-millionaires or multi-billionaires depending on how soon you come in. Right now, we're giving away $1 billion, and we're going to make you billionaires right now until we get to 1 million. Our first 1 million people that have at least one full coin. And then we're going to create 1 billion millionaires. Multi. Okay? So that's what we're all about. Get some information. And if you have any questions, get a hold of me. I've got my Proton Mail email there, and I've got my Telegram. These are all private, open source, or encrypted systems, so you can guarantee that nobody's going to be looking or reading or whatever. Okay, thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, night, wherever you are in the world, and hasta la vista.